Hey, what's going on YouTube? This is your boy, Broadus. Back again with another video, and today's video I want to title it, Get Your Passport and Go. Once again, I say get your passport and go. As those of you know, if you watch my channel, I recently came back from a trip from Africa, probably now going on about probably 3 weeks, matter of fact actually a month now. And I was I talk about how I had a great time and the different experiences that I had, and I uploaded a lot of footage in the videos. As many of you know that have watched my channel, or if this is your first time, I was prior military and I spent about 14 and a half years overseas. That's a combination of visiting different countries and also living and traveling abroad. And after I got out the military back in 2008, I pretty much hadn't left the country since. So my trip to Africa was the first time I actually been out the country since late 2007. But for those of you who have traveled out the country before, you understand the uniqueness and the significance of broadening your horizons and experiencing something different and seeing how other people live and how they do things, different from, say, the United States, even if it's a westernized country. But the unique experiences that you garner from seeing how other people live and being in different societies, for everything else there's MasterCard, but the experience itself is priceless. And so I highly recommend that you get your passport and go overseas and at least visit if you can. And for those of you that may have the opportunity to post up there temporarily, or for some time, I recommend that you try something different. Like I said, my time that I spent in any country overseas, I have to say I had a blast. I had a great time, and I had some unique experiences that I would never have had here in the United States of America. And I had the opportunity to meet a lot of different people. I met a lot of great people, and just like I touched their life, they definitely touched mine, because I never would have imagined going to all these different places, especially coming out of the ghetto in New York City. I'd never imagined that I'd travel and get to see all of that. But my most recent trip was in Ghana, Africa, and I honestly had a great time, but I also had a chance to survey some business opportunities. And granted, you can research, some things online. If there's countries that you're interested in going to and you may consider investing in, you can do your research online and blah, 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 etc., etc. But before you invest money, more than, in most cases, you're going to want to go visit that country itself and boots on the ground and see exactly what it's like, and make certain contacts and learn how that society or their business systems and how they operate. And this time when I was in Ghana, I didn't only just go for leisure. I also, like I said, I went to support my sister's non-governmental organization, and also one of her former pastors, which was being honored as a diplomat. But I had the opportunity to go over there and take care of some business. I was able to open up some foreign bank accounts, money market, and I and my sister were also able to look into purchasing some real estate. And we couldn't have done this without a certain context and without going over there with boots on the ground. It's one thing to research something online or through Google, but you still are going to need human contact, and you need to see people up close and personal, and establish relationships so you can know if the people that you're dealing with have integrity. And I'm speaking right now from a, I guess maybe from a business aspect, but there's more to it than that. But I believe that whenever you're talking about money, you're definitely going to get people's attention. But the trip was not only for leisure, but it was definitely for business, and in my opinion, it was well worth it. Myself, and my sister, eventually, we're going back over there, and real estate will be purchased, and we have our own unique plans for what we intend to do. But we were able to go over there, and thankfully, my sister had already had some good contacts and were established, and so that helped us out to get the door open. And so we will make sure that we have make the right business contacts with reputable people that are not going to take advantage of us as expats and as foreigners. But and this is true for any country that you go to. But when I say get your passport and go, I think that we owe it to ourselves to experience life in another society. I think there's a lot that can be gained. Those unique experiences will broaden your horizon and give you a much more broader perspective, and give you a panoramic view of what the world looks like. I've always said it, the world is bigger than where you grew up or whatever country you're from, and you owe it to yourself to go abroad and check it out and see different things. Social media is great, and films, the Travel Channel, all that stuff is great, but you need to go for yourself so you can have your own experiences, and then you can tell your story. But I've had no regrets in any of the countries that I've been to overseas. I've had none. I have nothing but praise for it, because I learned a lot. I am from the United States of America, and I won't argue. At this time, the United States of America, it is the greatest country in the world, as it stands right now. But there are still every country and every nation has something to offer. And I will say that even though as good as the United States is, I have to be honest, in my own personal opinion, I feel that the quality of life I've experienced better quality of life abroad than I have in the United States. And let me explain why. And this is just my opinion. In my opinion, it's just the cost of capitalism. I believe that the United States is, I believe, very materialistic and individually minded. I mean, that's just the way we operate in this country. It's got a lot of great things, but the downfall of capitalism is dog eat dog. And so everybody's trying to they're hustling, and they're existing, but they're not living. And I would say that is the biggest difference in being abroad versus, I would say, being in the United States. Even in the westernized, other westernized countries, they seem to have enjoy more of a life, of leisure. And people seem to be a bit more laid back. There's still a sense of community. And in the United States, what a lot of people may call community, I call cliques. With the capitalist mindset that we have, and all this credit and stuff like that, the United States has bred a culture, I believe, in some ways, of greed, materialism, and selfishness. And I feel that in our culture in the United States, I feel personally that they have forgotten about people. And you can have all the money and all the education and all of the materialism in the world, but if you have forgotten about people, that's your number one resource. And I'll give you a good example. If they're having a problem in the decline of births and of marriages. And so if you don't have families, and then those families don't produce children, if your generations keep going by with declining in your birth rate, then you won't have a society. You won't have a country, because eventually people are going to die off. Now you could say, well, yeah, they could, people will migrate, and you could say that, but you see what they're trying to do now. They're trying to, I guess you could say, stop illegal immigration, but they're basically trying to stop immigration in some form. They are. They're trying to stop it. Building walls and blah, 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 et cetera, et cetera. But I really wish that every American could, step outside this country and see how other people live. And I think that it would give Americans a much greater appreciation for other parts of the world, instead of making assumptions. A lot of times when we make assumptions about people, places, and things, much of it is due to ignorance, because our scope is so narrow. And when you travel abroad and you see how other people live and how they do things, what happens is that your eyes are open and you begin to see, you learn, and you grow. And I said this in my last videos when I was in Ghana. Every country, or every group of people, everybody has something to offer. It's just a matter of, are we going to be willing and open enough to accept it? But I recommend, get your passport and go. And for those of you that may be in different parts of the country, this applies to you too. If you've never been abroad, or maybe some of you have, but leave your cubby hole and travel and see something different. You'd be amazed what's out there. This is a big world. This is a big world. And when I, through my travel experiences, a lot of walls and a lot of paradigms that I had were broken down. It broke down my paradigms, and I had to learn and make new ones. But I have to admit that I have experienced better quality of life living abroad than I ever have in the United States of America. And I will always love America, and I serve my country honorably. But truth must be told. Are there opportunities here in the United States of America? Yes, there are. And if you work hard enough, you can do it. And there's opportunities abroad, but the United States does offer some opportunities. As with anything else, it's a land of opportunity, but it's not a cakewalk. And some things that they call opportunity, it may be more of an opportunity on paper. It all depends. Obviously I choose to look at the glass half full versus being half empty. But please, wherever you are, please don't sit, in just one place all your life. Please go and visit in other countries and live and see the world. As I say again, the United States is the greatest nation in the world, but in my personal opinion, from what I see, I think that people in America, that we are existing, not living. Abroad, people, they really living. But that's all I got for this video. Again, the name of this video is Get Your Passport and Go. See something different. See something different. Take a friend, or family member, or some loved ones with you. And I promise you, you will not regret it. Again, get your passport and go. Thanks guys for watching. Please like the video, unlike the video, share, subscribe. My channel is Eric Broadus, YouTube.com. Eric Broadus, or just go Eric Broadus YouTube. EricBroadus. Get your passport and go. All right. Peace, guys. See you on the next one.